Hi everybody, Paul B here. Just want to make a video and ask a question that I presently find fascinating, and I don't know if you will. I really hope you do though, because it's kind of revealing. The thing is, I couldn't start Escape from Meannesota in earnest until I got out of that hellhole apartment. I'd been working on it for a year and a half, but I couldn't get anything done to speak of because of the neighbor noise. I couldn't do anything. So it was only when I got into this dumpy motel that I was able to really start in earnest to create what you see on the website and the contest and everything. But I'm out of money. I sold a lot of stuff last Saturday so I could pay for another week here on Sunday. Sold it for pennies on the dollar. That stuff I worked my ass off for at a job for a company that just threw me in the trash. My point being that originally the Escape from Meannesota mashup contest was going to run for maybe 3, maybe even 4 months, so that it had time to propagate around the world, get all kinds of people involved. It takes that long, you can't do it overnight. I was going to give away 3 guitars, ship them globally. At the time, I could afford it easily, no problem. At the time, the contest was meant to raise awareness of noise and health issues and to expose the sheer negligence and apathy and mean-spiritedness of every Minnesota authority, from my landlord to the police to the New Brighton City Council, all the way up to my state legislator, none of whom did anything to help in 3 years. That was the original intent. Today, the intent, when I launched it, was to raise donations for a guy who 8 months ago was professionally employed in an apartment he had lived in for 8 months and had pretty good amount of life savings left even then. So now the purpose of it is to try to raise money to save my life so I can escape from Meannesota, and it's not going to happen. I just didn't have time. Things are starting to pick up now. The word's starting to get out, but the contest ends in 3 days. I don't think I have the money to be anywhere after that. It's illegal for me to sleep in my car or outside in the state of Minnesota, so I'm going to be a lawbreaker just by obeying what my body tells me to do. This is the most Stone Age, medieval state. They've outlawed everything I would need to do to help myself. I can't even work legally. I would have to commit perjury on paper to do it. If you ever get time, just check out the Minnesota State Legislature. Really check it out. Until I moved to Minnesota, outrageously good people were like one of the driving forces of my life and kept my spirit going. But those people aren't here in Minnesota. Take a look at that legislature. Take a look at it. Take a close look at it. What kind of people create laws that prevent homeless people from working themselves out of it? I don't want to talk about that. But that might help explain why the first song I have here as the last song I would ever hear is The Evil That Men Do by Iron Maiden. The question is, why would I even think of entering eternity with a song called The Evil That Men Do on my mind? Maybe it's because I'm in Meannesota. And they do a lot of evil here. That's not the song. It's a great song, but that's not the song I want to end with. I've got a huge list of songs, and I just thought I'd go over them because what's interesting as a thought experiment is as I think of these songs, I think, which one would I want to be the last song I hear as the end nears? Again, something you might carry into eternity. And you look at each of these songs, it's really interesting. Now, for me, music means everything. Well, beauty means everything to me, whether it's the starry sky, or a raccoon climbing a tree, or a fresh mountain stream, good friends. Things that are beautiful are what pick me up and make me happy. But I'm in Minnesota, there's nothing beautiful here. It's really ugly. These songs, because I engage them so much from an aesthetic standpoint of beauty, it's amazing what they conjure up in my mind as I think about which one would I want to be the last song I ever hear. So The Evil That Men Do came to mind mainly because of my former employer here. That was the main link, but like I said, the state legislature certainly fits that bill as well. Really, anything in Meannesota does. But some other songs and observations. Dust in the Wind by Kansas, kind of obvious, but again, that's, what's the word, fatalistic? I mean, it's kind of, well, it's kind of true. We are dust in the wind, you know. My bones are going to be laying out there pretty soon, so it is what it is. Potter's Field, Anthrax. It's hard rock, but damn, it's good rock. That whole album, Sound of White Noise. Wow. I remember when these albums came out. I'm old enough. You know, when you're young, you never think you'll even say, oh, I remember when, or I'm old enough to, you never think you'll even get to that point, and now I'm at that point. I remember when Eddie Van Halen single-handedly killed disco. And I'm still grateful. You Set the Scene by Love. That's the closer on Love's Forever Changes album. If you haven't heard that album, hear that album. Even see I think the 1976 edition of the Rolling Stone Record Guide called that indescribably essential. And that issue of the Rolling Stone Record Guide hated everything. It gave Rush like 0 stars down the line. Rolling Stone's the worst music reviewers. God. But that book introduced me to an awful lot of great bands I never would have heard of. Love is one of them. Listen to Forever Changes. If you haven't heard that, you're not ready to go. It is gorgeous. And the last song on there, it's actually pretty affirmative of life, though, at the end. You Set the Scene. It's just a great song. It's not appropriate for what I'm looking for. And Xanadu by Rush, the Exit Stage Left live version. 3 guys. All the bands I've played in have been trios, and I love it. Power trios. I mean, we kick ass. And we do double time. But Rush are the gods of that. Those 3 guys sound like an orchestra, like a rock and roll orchestra. And on the Exit Stage Left album, jeez. And 2 songs from there in particular, Xanadu and La Villa Strangiato. Those are human beings creating something as beautiful as what I see that we normally attribute to God out there. So I wouldn't complain if Xanadu or La Villa Strangiato were the last songs I heard. They're worthy of eternity. Then you got songs like Anything by Alice in Chains. Alice in Chains. Because their stuff was all about death and darkness. Them bones and What the Hell Have I Don't Follow, Stay Away. That's an extraordinary band. Yeah, their stuff's really dark, but oh my god, that Jar of, was it Jar of Flies, right? Again, it's kind of dark for your last song, but it's so good, I don't think I would complain. There's a bunch of songs on my list that conjure up memories from when I was young. You know, the first song I ever heard, I remember it. I remember it because I was just a little kid. I was probably 3. And my family went to Cedar Point, which is an amusement park in Ohio. And they were playing it on the loudspeaker. And you know what? The whole day they played songs on that loudspeaker. But I only remember one of those songs at age 3. And the reason is because it was so beautiful. It just, if you have a heart and soul, unlike these people in Minnesota, if you have a soul that can engage everything, a song like that will touch your heart at age 3 and stick with you forever. That was the song Something by the Beatles. Because Abbey Road had just come out and the Beatles were just then breaking up. There's a whole bunch of these songs from when I was young. My Little Town, the Simon and Garfunkel reunion. First time I heard that, my mom was driving me home from Cub Scouts. And now I have to pick one of these songs to be the last song I'll ever hear. Because of these people in Minnesota, and they're gonna get away with it. I wish I could do this video, but I can't. In the end, I picked a song, but I wish I could tell you about all the other great ones. If I have anything to say about it, the last song I ever hear is going to be The Song Is Over by The Who.
The song is over.